Kevin Francis, astrophotographer. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today? Oh, I'm doing great. Looking forward to this interview, and thanks for having me. All right, so first question. What got you into astrophotography? Well, I got into astrophotography when I finally got a telescope that showed me a lot more than that Bushnell 70 millimeter I had as a child. I've always been fascinated with space and always wanted to even wanted to be an astronaut growing up. Didn't go that far, but I still have that passion and that drive to look at space and the planets, the moon, and I started to be able to put my cell phone on there and take pictures, and that just drove me further and further into this expensive hobby of astrophotography that I'm taking the inexpensive route as much as I can. Awesome. So what do you have here to show us today? This is the motor controller for my Orion, from Orion for the automation project that I was working on. Unfortunately, after all this time, Orion has not been able to send me a replacement to this, so I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and ask for a refund. It's been months of waiting, and COVID has hit their supplier pretty hard. They're not able to get it, so maybe I'll just send all of this back to them, and maybe even look at some other options. So what other options are you looking at? Well, here's one that I'm looking at right now that's it's got all the components that I need to be able to put it all together. There are a few things I need to buy, of course. I'll buy all the motors off of Amazon, put together this controller. I need a soldering iron to help with that project, which I don't have currently. And it works with Stellarium, so maybe I'll follow up on this project and see. As a matter of fact, YouTube, tell me your thoughts. Should I just go ahead and get a refund on this as I've been waiting so long and try this other project? I'd like to hear from you. Put it in the comments. Thanks. Oh, absolutely. We've got good fans here on YouTube, so we should see some great comments on that. So Kevin, you're not the typical astrophotographer just buying whatever the companies out there make. You kind of do things very differently in 3D printing stuff. Going with Raspberry Pis, I see you have one in your hand. Can you talk about your next projects? Sure. I bought this Raspberry Pi 4. It's got Wi-Fi on it. My goal is to automate this mount, which is another reason why I've got the declination and motor on here, right? Provided I get a working controller, I can start the process of trying to get to a go-to mount, which is my ultimate goal. Started off this entire hobby of mine with the goal of being able to look up in the night sky and see what I'm looking at and point my telescope there and get the photo. So learning the night sky was important to me. So that was a good first step for me before trying to get to the automated go-to step. A lot of people jump straight to that. They'll spend $1,000 for the mount, plus get themselves a go-to mount, hit a couple of buttons, it turns and goes there. And if you ask them to tell you what they're looking at, they may or may not know. I wanted to be different than that, right? But I got my Raspberry Pi, put it together, and I've tried 3 different methods, 3 different software packages to get this thing to work, and I'll go over that in another video. But it's been a real challenge to try to get that to work. So thanks for asking. Again, I appreciate you coming on the show, Kevin, and talking to us about what you're going through with this particular project and how COVID has affected you. So really appreciate you taking the time out to come sit down with us. Thank you. Oh, sure, no problem at all. And thank you for having me. And just final message, of course, is the sky is only the limit when your mind is unwilling to fly. So go beyond. Thanks for having me.